And a very warm welcome to this week's Ref Show. Delighted to have the holidaying Mark Halsey back with us this week on the show. Carlton Palmer, he's back from China. We spare no expense on this programme to get them flown in. Good to have you with us, chaps. We'll be having a load of stuff to talk about. We're looking across the pond mainly to Canada and the United States. Our talking points from the Women's World Cup include the player who blatantly accused a referee of bias but escaped action, and of course England getting to the semi-finals of the Women's World Cup. That's a terrific achievement. And our MLS chat includes a look at the extraordinary pay levels now for top players in America, and we'll be asking whether the MLS might start headhunting international referees and offer them pretty good pay in return for that. And there's an amazing series of incidents at the Copa America quarterfinal between Chile and Uruguay to look at. But first of all, we reflect on the terrible atrocity in Tunisia, the terrorist attack on the beach, and our commiserations from you, the ref, to the families of all the victims, which included, Mark, a young referee, Joel Richards.
Yes, I mean, obviously, you know, what I've heard, he was a young budding referee, and they reckon he could have gone all the way, but it's just shocking, isn't it? It's for everybody that was involved, and you just can't comprehend, you know, what's gone on there, and you know, my heart and my thoughts and go with all the families that have been involved, that have suffered loss and injuries.
There's not a lot more that we can say except commiserations to everybody affected by that. Canada. The Women's World Cup, Carlton, I don't know how much of it you've seen, but England reaching the semi-finals. So much for our men's team then, eh?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, a remarkable achievement for the ladies, and let's hope they can get into the final. But it's difference between, you know, no disrespect the ladies and the men's situation. You know, but the football in Britain needs a massive overhaul for it to be successful at that level. It really does. For the men's to be successful, it's difficult, you know.
The women are showing us up then.
Well, not really, because at the end of the day, they're doing well, and that's a great achievement. But their top players are not playing 70 games a season. You know, if you're playing 70 games a season and then having to go into a major tournament, it's really difficult. And until we have an overall of the Premier League and the competitions, and also the structuring of it, because at the moment now most of the teams are managed in the Premier League by overseas managers who bring in overseas players. And until they limit that number and we get back to producing our own players at grassroots level that we've got to do, then we're going to have a problem, and it's only going to get worse.
Exemplified by the defeat of the England under-21s as well.
Well, the problem you've got with the under-21s is, again, you're looking at Wilshere and people like that who are not playing. Well, why aren't they playing? The managers are saying, well, like Arsene Wenger rightly says, well, he's a full international and he's a first-team player, but you know, and they need to rest during the summer because of the number of the games. But for somebody like Wilshere, who's missed half the season, I don't see what the problem is with him playing in that tournament.
But Carlton's right. Other nations take their best players, whether they've played, you know, senior level international or not. They take their best players. Why aren't we taking our best players? But even so, without those sort of players, we still should be doing better. And what we've done, you know, to go out to Italy 3-1, we still should be doing better, Carlton.
But the women's team. Terrific. Mark.
I think it's just terrific. Yeah, I mean, you know, I know there is a bit of a difference, but hey, listen, I think the nation needs to get behind our ladies. They've done something that our under-21s and our seniors haven't done in a long time.
Since 1990.
Got through to a semi-final.
25 years.
Hey, listen, well done, girls.
But it's a different. Since 1990, and if you look at the calibre of player that was around in 1990, we had some very special players in that team, and we haven't produced nowhere near those kind of players since. You're talking Linekers, you're talking about Chris Waddle, you're talking about Peter Beardsley, you're talking about Paul Parker, you're talking about Mark, you're talking about top class players. But Brian Robson's, we haven't produced.
Carlton Palmer just followed on a few years later, missed yourself out.
I was lucky enough to go on and play for my country because I worked hard. Talent-wise, I wasn't up there with talent, so I just worked hard. These players don't work hard now. They earn a lot of money. They think they're better than what they are, you know. And so there lies the problem.
But just coming on to what Carlton was saying about, someone playing 50, 60, 70 games a season. Now, you're just saying there that players don't work hard. Do they train as hard? An hour or 2 hours a day. You've got squads now, so they're not playing every game. Is that an excuse to say that we're not performing because they're playing too many games?
Yeah, but the top players are. See, like Gerrard and Lampard, say, for instance, in the last major championship, they would play the majority of the games for their clubs. So if, like, say, for instance, when I went to European Championships in '92, I played 78 games that season. How can you possibly go into a camp and then go and play in a major tournament? When you look at, and you can say whatever you want to say, if you're playing for Barcelona, say, right, in La Liga, you've got 15 games a season, 20 games a season, where you're not even getting out of second gear. Yeah, you're winning 5-0, 6-0, So it's a different ball game. You go to Norwich on a Monday night in a Premier League, it's a tough game.
It is a tough game. But also, do you agree that we should have a winter break?
I think now we should. But the problem is, for me, is like, say, for England under 21s, Gareth Southgate, and I like Gareth, right? I'm not having a pop at Gareth Southgate, but at the end of the day, the FA are hypocrites, because they want, Gareth Southgate got 60 odd, 70 caps for England. When Gary Pallister was at Manchester United, winning the league, winning Champions League, he was in the side ahead of Gary Pallister, which no disrespect to Gary Southgate. Like I said, I think he's a decent club player, but to have 70 caps for England, I think's wrong when you look at the likes of Gary Pallister. Then you look at him getting the under 21 job. Why? Because he speaks right, and he has the right, portrayal to the public. But I wouldn't have him in as manager to win matches.
He's right, and you just going like you want your best players playing at all time. And if I was Roy, I'd pick up the phone and be speaking to John Terry and all.
Take your point. Can I just kick this back to Mark Sampson and the England ladies, and this game against Canada was supposed to be all sorts, wasn't it, Mark? Because the two managers were having a go, saying the pre-match, the most aggressive in the tournament, said Mark Sampson about the Canadians. And the Canadian coach, John Herdman, came back and said, go out and give England hell.
That's right, yeah.
It was just a yellow card each.
I know, two Geordies as well, weren't they? You know what they can really... No, nothing happened. 54,000 people. What an attendance as well out there. And as I say, I thought they'd done extremely well, and the referee was good on that occasion. So
the inevitable, Germany are in the semi-finals as well. The women are as efficient as the men, and they're playing the United States. England against Japan, which will be on Wednesday. Let's hope we can go on and win it.
I think they certainly can. I think they certainly can beat Japan, and the momentum's with them now as well. So I think they certainly can go on and beat Japan and get to the final. To beat the favourites as they did in the previous round, they'll be full of confidence. It is what it is. But when you get down to this kind of stage in a major competition, there's not a lot to choose between the teams. So little breaks here and there will decide.
Decisions,
And it would be nice if the country really got behind. It would help if games didn't take place at midnight.
That's
though,
right.
wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
The quarter-final did. Just finally, in this section of the show, we'll be talking MLS in the second section. Loads going on there, and in America generally. There was an incident at the Women's World Cup where a United States player, Abby Wambach, accused a referee of deliberately cautioning two of her United States teammates during the game with Colombia to cause them to miss their quarter-final against Chile, China, which America won. Now, she wasn't punished, Mark. She retracted it and apologised, but should that have counted in her favour?
No, it's absolutely nonsense. No referee goes out to caution a player. You go out, you referee what's in front of you, and it so happens that she's cautioned a couple of players, and they most probably deserved it. But for her to come out and say this, and I was very surprised she got away with a warning. For me, I think she should have been suspended.
What do you think?
I think too much leniency there.
Well, you can think you just can't say it, can you? I've thought before in the past, especially when I was manager of Stockport, I think when you play a manager, as I was at the time, and you're a bit of a name, I think some referees look to headline things. When I went back to Leeds United when I was at Southampton, I went back to Leeds United. The referee was looking to book me, and once you book me early doors in the game, he's giving himself nowhere to go. So I'm not saying he deliberately meant to get me sent off, but it's a headline, isn't it? Carlton Palmer going back to Leeds United and sent off, or Carlton Palmer and he's booked me. he left himself nowhere to go. The second one, with all due respect to the referee, was a bookable offence, but the first one wasn't, and he left him nowhere to go.
That's right. As we've said regularly on this show, it's all about managing the players.
Okay. I'm having to manage the programme now and shut these guys up just for a couple of minutes. Rejoin us for the second part of the Ref Show, where we'll be looking at the MLS. See you in a moment.